Welcome. Today is Wednesday. What is it today? The 7th of August. Welcome, everybody. My name is Farney Reinders, and we are going to be doing some live coding today. I've been off the charts for some while now, but hopefully I will get into the motion of the ocean soon. How is everybody doing? If everyone doing? Is that even English? I don't know. Welcome to my channel again. So on today's agenda, I was thinking of doing some revamp on our SDNcast, our Dutch SDNcast website, just to play around, and ideas to maybe convert that to Blazor, or maybe to convert that to .NET 3.0, the new preview release. And also it's a good excuse to get my hands dirty with .NET Core 3, the new one that's going on. So so welcome. And if you just joined us, this is a very free format thing. Just please post your questions in the chat below. For the folks on Periscope, sorry, I don't monitor Periscope, so please head on to twitch.tv/FarneyRangers, and you can join the conversation there. But let's start the show. Okay, so I think the first thing is first. Let's get some music going. If the music wants to play. For some reason it doesn't. Let me see what's happening here. Help if I put up the right volume button. There we go. This is, how can I say this? Ulcero, let's go. So we're playing that now. For all the folks that joined us now, let's see what's happening in the world of programming first. Before we carry on, I want to give a shout out to, let me just quickly share my screen. Screen. I want to give a shout out to these folks. It's called Go Azure, or Azure. These guys just started a new meetup in Alkmaar, and it's the north of Holland. So if you are an Azure fan, please go and support those guys, or just reach out to Rupesh Kumar directly. You can just go to meetup.com/go-azure. If you really want to learn more about Azure, I would suggest attending these meetups. And in other news, we have this is called SDN. It's our Dutch sort of conference site, and we have a new magazine that was launched a while ago. Actually, the 30th of June, I believe. It is in Dutch, so if you like Dutch, that's fine. Otherwise, just use the good old Google Translate to translate it, I would say. But there's great content in there. If you look at the this is a bit of an executive summary. We've got Gerald Versluis that has an article on fullstack.net with Blazor. Now that's kind of the topic of today, is like taking Blazor and trying to implement it in our website today. Let's just do this music a bit softer. I can actually. There we go. And then in the cloud space, there is a proactief beheer zonder email. So that's a post by our friend Jan de Vries, talking about email management, I believe. That's on page 11. And then we have HoloLens development by Roy Jansen. And then we've got more Blazor stuff by Johan Smits. Blazor or Razor components, that's a kind of a debate. It was Blazor, and then it became Razor components, and then it's back to Razor again because it's kind of hip, you know. And then Sander Hogendoorn has a brilliant article on the topic of Agile, the Truman Show. And then lastly but not least, Fons Sonnemans, we have XAML markup extensions. So that's kind of in the Windows space. Okay, so that's all for news today, I believe. So please go and download magazine 137. Let me see. So, okay, you guys are not here to actually listen to me talk about magazines and stuff. That's also not my good point. Just to note, if you want to, actually I want to point that way, if you want to sort of write magazines, like articles for this magazine, we always are looking for new authors to help enrich this magazine. And also, if you want to feature on our SDN Cast show, which is a weekly Thursday nights show, you can just go to SDN Cast in your browser, your favorite browser like, I don't know, Edge or something. Joking. You can use Firefox if you really want to. You will get to this guide. So this is basically a list of all our pre-recorded shows that we have. And you will find all the live coding. We also do some live coding on the website itself. So, okay, without further ado, the idea is this is an old ASP.NET Core application. I think it's been upgraded to 2.2 or something. I'm not entirely sure. But, yeah, so I think the main aim is to take a look at this website, file a bit of issues. And if you're in the chat, please reach out to me so that we can see how we can make this site better together. Okay. If you want to contribute, all the pull requests are here on SDNcast, or actually github.com/SDNcode /SDNcast.nl. Yeah, as you can see, there's the code, and I think we've got a new hip branch that we've sort of started on a while ago. But I'm not sure if this is the way to go though. So I'm just like, we were adding a few features and seeing how we want to do this thing. But my aim is to actually rewrite this from scratch, because as you can see, there's some vulnerabilities on the site itself. So let's see, open up Visual Studio 2019. You can use any editor you want. And let's see. I'm going to clone this website. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clone this one and basically start from scratch and make a new branch totally. I'm not sure about this new hip one. What I'll do is I'll just hopefully I've got Git tools installed. Otherwise, I have to install that. Will this work if I go check out this? Let's check that out into dev, if that exists. Got clone. Well, that works. That's quite cool. That was easy. Cool. That was actually a good experience. I'm usually used to opening it up at the terminal. Oh, by the way, this is the new terminal. The new experimental or the preview version of Windows Terminal. It's quite cool. You can zoom in, and it's got tabs and stuff like that, which is quite cool. But yes, I'm used to the whole git pull thing. You can totally do that, I believe. Okay, so what do we have here? We have an old website which has a few assets. Why is this PSD file here? Home back PSD. Photoshop file. Okay, I don't have Photoshop on my machine. And then we have the whole website here. So let's file some issues together and see how we can make this better. So first of all, these like buttons I think should go, because it's not entirely GDPR compliant. I believe we even don't have a, just hit Control F5, we don't have a cookie warning or something, and if you're going to be using this, it uses cookies. So I think we should maybe make it GDPR compliant. So let's quickly log a new issue. Compliant. How do you spell compliant? Compliant like that. Like that. Compliant. Compliant. No, that's not the right way. Hello, NL169. Are you African American? No, I am actually from South Africa. But I'm not African American. I am far from America as possible. I am from South Africa, but I'm living in Netherlands now. So welcome to the chat. Thank you for reaching out. If you have any questions or any concerns or any feedback, if you can't hear me very well, just pop me a chat, and then we can have a nice show. Make GDPR compliant. I think that's the way. A couple of things here that we need to change. We need to change Facebook like, move, add cookie banner. Let's submit this new issue. Always get these interesting names on Twitch. I think I'm not the one to actually speak, because my name isn't really pronounceable all the time. So if you're wondering how to pronounce my name, it's actually Fanie, like a long A, Fanie, Reinders. So that's my last name, obviously. So you've got Fanie Reinders. Some American people or some other foreign people say Fanny, which is also fine. I just I don't really care, as long as you can pronounce it, that is fine. Actually, can close these guys down. Okay. All right. So what else do we have here? We have So that's also a thing. This is English. Okay, which is quite cool. So everything is in English. Which is quite cool. But some of these things are in Dutch, but that just links to YouTube. So if I click here, that will just link to YouTube, you know. Alright, so what do we need to do here still? We have a about. Oh, also we need to, our friend Gerald was gracefully offering his time to the SDN cast, but now he's moved on to working for Microsoft. He's got other responsibilities, unfortunately. And he's not part of the team anymore, the core team rather. But he's going to be on the show again, hopefully. Great guy. But because he's not part of the team, we need to remove him from the website, unfortunately. So I think we need to log an issue to remove good old Gerald from the website. So let's say remove Gerald. Like a frowny face. Sad to see him go, but hey, Microsoft. Let's just Microsofty. Right, so that's another one. File another issue. Let's say upgrade to .NET 3. go to latest preview version, and then possibly implement using laser, I would say. Right, I think that's enough issues for now. So let's see if we can actually get a few things going. So first of all, working in agile fashion, we're not gonna do this from scratch, I would say. So or maybe we should. I don't know. Let's see what big thing is this all about. So I can actually open up this SLN file. Okay, that's that. Right, so I just want to get back into the groove here. Where do we go now? We need to go to home, branches, however you want to say that. I'm going to create a new branch. I'm going to call it, for instance, Revamp. Let's start fresh. Let's start completely fresh and to see how we're going to be... obviously I need to do my password thingy, and then do I have... No. Okay, that will work. NL169, if you're still in the chat, if you're still available and when you're watching, please let me know. Are you a .NET developer? Or a what kind of developer are you? Are you even a developer? Let me know in the chat, and let's see if we can get like a combined effort here, if you want. Right, so we have got a revamp branch. That's quite cool. So what do we have here? We have got all MVC stuff in here. So I think the first thing that we need to do is we need to figure out how we can go to the new .NET Core 3.0 release. So we have a preview 7. By the way, it's production supportable, but it's not production ready, I would say, because obviously of the name preview. But they have a blog post stating that there is support for it in production right now. So I would just say go with it and just use it. Great, it's got like C# 8 support, it's got F# 4.7, not that we're going to be using F#, but fine. Okay, so first things first, do we need to download something? Yeah, let's see. We need to download the SDK. So that's happening in a bit. And I probably need to update my Visual Studio. I think that is updated, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, okay, so NL169, I'm just going to call you NL. I'm trying to figure out what is ASP. Now, ASP, for the folks that do not know ASP, it's ASP.NET, or ASP.NET Core, that's the new official name. It originated from Microsoft ASP, like the classic ASPs. It's called Active Server Pages, but that's like old stuff. That's used predominantly for creating server-side applications like APIs or websites or web apps, or in that regard. And during the years, they've created ASP.NET, which is based on the full .NET framework. But where you actually want to be parting, if you want to be learning stuff, I would say ASP.NET Core or .NET Core. I can bring up a website for you. You can go to learn.net. I think it's .net like that. No, not that. Is it learn.net? Learn.net. Is this one? Yeah. It's called .net.microsoft.com/learn. And this will give you all the information that you want to be figuring out about ASP. So you want to be going to the web, and please do go through these steps. And it's like a kind of the tutorial to kind of ramp you up onto the .NET world to help you to understand .NET or ASP.NET. It's completely in the browser, so you can... Is this in the browser? Oh, this is not in the browser. There is another one. Learn.net Interactive. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's part of the same website. So the first steps is just to install it. But it's actually quite cool. You can actually go and... this is not working, this code editor. It's funny. Try .NET. That's also not working. Try .NET, maybe? Is that working? No, that's working. If you go to try.dot.net, cool. This will kind of bring up this this thing. We can just run it. And it will work. Do I answer your question, NL169? Hopefully so. Thank you for that chat. I have no idea why is this not working. Let's see. Continue. Razor pages. Yeah, this is all the documentation, which is also helpful. But I'm looking for a interactive one somewhere I've seen. Try.net in your browser. So, knowing C# is necessary. Yeah, it is kind of. Or you can do VB.net or any .NET language. That's kind of a prerequisite. F#, if you're an F# guy, what languages do you know? Do you know any .NET language, or is it? Are you coming from a Java or JavaScript background? Having said that, I'm not comparing Java and JavaScript because that's the same as comparing I don't know, two different things. But unfortunately, yes, C# to answer your question, C# is, in this case, it is necessary. It's not that hard. Really try to get into these things. If you're coming from a C background, it might be a bit easier, or Java background, it might be a bit different. But if you do not know programming at all, I would suggest that you start learning, because it's a great time to be a developer, they always say. .NET runs everywhere, so even on the fridge you can run .NET. So okay, hopefully that will answer your question. If you have any other questions, please post it on the chat, and I can see if I can answer it with the best of my abilities. So where are we now here? Blah 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 blah. Installation was successful. Great stuff. I think just to be sure, I'm just going to close this Visual Studio instance and just open it up again. And by the way, NL169, if you want to start learning coding, you don't have to buy Visual Studio. Visual Studio comes in many flavors. If you go to visualstudio.com, you can see there's a community edition that's free, totally for open source projects and for startups. But also you can use Visual Studio Code and .NET is supported in there. So Visual Studio Code is open source. It's completely free. It's a nice lightweight editor. It comes with a bunch of extensions. So please do check that out. Don't feel that you have to purchase something. It is totally free. It just waits. On you to start using it. Okay, so I think that is it. I'm just gonna see if I can maybe move forward a bit. Dev. All right, so this is my kind of structure. I think let's see if we can maybe refactor these things a bit. I was never a fan of this whole domain name as a thing. So let's just call this I don't know, just SDNcast or something, or just site, because that's the top level anyway. The thing is, every namespace is SDNcast.nl. That's like coming from Java days, I think. Yeah, I'm not always a fan. Maybe we'll just call it SDNcast. I would say, let's just call it SDNcast. That's the new one, SDNcast. Actually, close this puppy down, close the solution. Let's create a new project. Let's see what is there. Okay, so I'm going to be trying to accommodate NL169 in the chat here and show him how easy it is to create a new website using ASP.NET Core. But just know my aim is to do it in Blazor, but it doesn't make a difference. It's still .NET. It's still based on .NET. So how this works, .NET is the bottom layer, is the core framework. That's like for everything, for web, mobile, for desktop applications, you can use .NET. For everything you want to do, you can use .NET. On top of .NET, you have server technologies like ASP.NET that I've spoke about. That's built on top of .NET. And that's predominantly used for web APIs and stuff. And on top of, included in ASP.NET Core, for instance, is a lot of tools and frameworks like Blazor to do like front ends with and those kind of things. So what we want is, we don't want a console application, because a console application is just a normal, like a terminal, like this thing. It will run and it will execute and it will stop. So what we want in our case, because we're building a website, we are using ASP.NET Core application. So we're going to go next. And it asks me where I want to put this thing. So I'm going to just put it into our source directory, and then we just select this thing here, and we could call this SDNcast. Alright, so that's a new solution. I think, oh, bother, go back. SDNcast, I think that's maybe much better. Great. Right, so now, why do I only have 2.1? Do I need to upgrade? I think I need to upgrade to use 3.0. I only have the 2.1 version, although I've installed the SDK. Visual Studio is not aware of the new version. So let's see if we can turn that on somehow. Tools, options, and preview, I believe. Preview features. If you go to preview features under the environment, you can actually set up for Visual Studio to recognize any preview versions of the .NET Core SDK, which is quite cool. It's also the first time I've seen that thing. Right, so what do we have here? We have now Visual Studio. So now if we technically go new project, okay, the folder wasn't created yet, which is quite cool. We go ASP.NET Core, and we go SDNcast. That's what we want. Create. That's also 2.1. Why is it not? It's not working. Do I need to close and... I do apologize, folks. I have no idea why this is happening. Let's see. Let's create a new project, see if it is fine now. Just do that there. There we go. Now it's picking up. Looks like you have to exit Visual Studio and open it up again. So in our case, go back. We want to go to C dev here. We want to say it's SDN cast. Right, let's go and create. And what we want, we can start off with the empty one if we want. So let's investigate. So what we have here, we've got an API. If we want to build an API, we've got a worker service for background working stuff. Web application. That's a project template for creating ASP.NET Core applications with example core Razor Pages content. Alright, and then we have web application. That's an MVC model. We've got a gRPC service, which is the kind of a newer, the new kids on the block thingy. Blazor server-side, a project for creating Blazors that runs server-side in the ASP.NET Core application. Alright, and then further we have got... Okay, so what we'll do, we'll just go for the server-side one. Because class library, if you want to be reusing things. NL169, there is a Linux, Mac OS, Windows flags. Is it cross-platform automatically? Now, the thing is, .NET Core is cross-platform, which means that you can compile it. If you compile it on a Mac, it will run on a Mac. If you compile it on Linux, it will run on Linux. But if you compile it as they call it a platform agnostic, you can run it, you can compile it on a Windows machine and it can run on Mac OS, for instance, given that the .NET Core runtime for Mac OS is on the machine itself. So ultimately, I've got two options. You can either compile it natively, without any dependency on .NET, which means it builds .NET inside of your assembly. For that, you need to do compilation of the target machine on the target machine itself. Like for Mac, you have to compile it on Mac, for instance. If you want to be doing like a portability kind of things, so you have Windows, you want to go to Linux later, or Mac, and you know that you have like a lightweight runtime of .NET Core running. It can be a container as well, eh? On the machine itself, you can just go portable. So that's why those tags are there. It is automatically. You don't have to do anything because .NET Core is cross-platform. It runs everywhere. So hopefully that will answer your question. Everything looks fine. I'm just going to go ahead and create this guy. Right. So what do we have here? It's downloading stuff. Right, this is quite annoying. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and play. Just especially for NL69. Thank you for following me, NL69. Wow. Thank you very much for the follow. That's nice. So what I'll do is I'll maybe focus this cast on you. Thank you very much for the follow. Wow. I hope you like my animation there. Not that I say you are a zombie, but I just like the animation. Let's see. Okay, so now I've not done anything special. I've just clicked through the templates. Of course, you can start from scratch, but learning ASP.NET, I would say it might be better to just use a template and just get your hands dirty. Just start creating awesome stuff, I would say. Okay, so this prompt, trust ASP.NET Core SSL certificate. It's not installing like enterprise stuff. This is just a development certificate because we are using HTTPS and it needs SSL certificates. I would also recommend we doing this way. This will just to install a developer certificate so that we can actually run stuff with our application. Otherwise, HTTPS won't work. Right, so this is a Blazor application. Right, so this is easy. It looks beautiful. As you can see, it's sort of works as expected. It's got like a weather forecast, it's got counters and stuff that works. But keep in mind, it is a full-fledged, I think it's a kind of a single page application, isn't it? Oh, well, it looks like one. Oh, let me just see. So it acts like a single page application, but it's not. It's a server-side application without any JavaScript. That's amazing. Well, it's using this Blazor server JavaScript thing, but it's not using React, it's not using Angular, it's using C# end to end, which is quite cool. For .NET developers, that's what I'm saying. If you are learning .NET, you want to be doing, even if you're a full stack developer, everything up to the database even. I'm not saying into the database because that's a different story, obviously, but back-end services and front-end you can do .NET, which is awesome. You don't have to focus and change to all of a sudden Angular or JavaScript or whatever. You just use C#, which is quite cool, I would say. So this example is a server-side example. Alright, so we have, so how that works, it's all the goodness of Blazor runs on the server, and how that works, it's kind of computes the changes as you change around on the screen, because it's actually behaving like a single page application. If you don't know what a single page application is, it's like they call it sparse. It is a way of rendering everything on the client, so it's not as chatty, for instance. So this is just the other way around. It's a server-side application, but it behaves like a single-page application. So this is the Blazor server-side templates that I've used. So also, if you go to the actual source, you will see the actual source. You won't see. Let me just see. You will actually see the HTML that gets rendered from the server. And as you change, it doesn't push through the whole website. On the server, it knows the state of your client, what it has on the screen. So it actually just computes like a div, and it can only send those changes down the pipe. So everything happens on server side. If you have business logic, nothing goes to the server, or to the client, I mean, and then it just HTML gets funneled through using SignalR. So it's like a push mechanism. They are working on a preview version of Blazor that is client side, where all these goodness on server side happens on client side, which means all your DLLs of your web app, of your front end, will be downloaded and run natively in the browser on top of WebAssembly. Because what they've done there is they've created a .NET runtime that is compatible with WebAssembly. Now, WebAssembly is like a browser standard supported by most modern browsers, actually. All browsers have it built in, even I think mobile browsers. And that will allow you to run the same assembly that you ran on your server side. If you download that and you just start up the special WebAssembly.NET runtime on the browser, it can run that same application in the browser without any connectivity to a server. Now, of course, you want to be doing data calls over Web API, which is totally possible. But the nice thing is you can use exactly that and just move everything across, and it will run in the same sandbox as the JavaScript would, but it's C#, which is nice. Cool. Okay, enough about me ranting about Blazor and how cool it is. I think the one of the best times now to get into Blazor is now, because Blazor is a game changer, believe it or not. All right. Okay, so we have this website here. So let's see how this works and how we can actually change it. So email 169, to answer your question, sdncast.nl is written like that. Now, the old one not. The old one is still written in ASP.NET Core 2.2, I would say. This is not... I can actually show you the source code quickly. Will it help if I show you source code? I have no idea. But it's not, to answer your question, it's not written in Blazor. I want to move it to Blazor or rewrite it in Blazor. The old SDNcast website, the sdncast.nl that I've just shown you in the beginning of the show, that is written in ASP.NET Core, the previous version, but it's implementing using the MVC template. So when we have, you can actually open it up quickly. When you go to create new project, web, whatever, and then you say, there, instead of using Blazor, you can choose to use the Model View Controller, or MVC, that's a pattern, or even web application, that's Razor Pages, depending on what you want to do. So please let me know if you want to be building an API. If you want to be building an API, I would say go for the API one. If you want to be building like a normal website just to get learning, I would say go for web application, or even Blazor if you want to. Or if you are comfortable with the MVC pattern, you can use the web application using the MVC pattern. As easy as that. Hopefully that will answer your question. Thank you very much for asking that. Right, so what do we have here? We have a thing that runs. So we have got data, we've got pages, and we've got some shared stuff. So how does this work? Just want to keep an eye on the time, because I do need to also start working soon. So we have some, we've got some data objects. We've got a data service. Maybe just zoom that in just a tilt, that you can see. And all these files in Blazor is .razor files, which is quite interesting. You have got your main layout. Just maybe zoom in a bit like that. You can actually see. So you've got your sidebar, which is just a component. You see the purple. There's a difference between the dark red and the purple. Now that purple, this part is not HTML. This is HTML, but this is not HTML. And if you're coming from a front-end background like React or something, this might look familiar because this is like similar. This is called a component. In this case, it's called nav menu. And this component is written totally in C#. So this points to, on your right, if you go to the shared nav menu.razor, so this component does this. And each nav menu has the top part, which is the title. And then you have your a bundle for your item. So each item is a nav link, which is quite cool. And I believe that nav link, can I F12 in there? I think nav link and nav menu, I think nav link might be a Blazor specific thing. If I'm not mistaken. In any case, so we have your leads, and then inside the lead we have a nav link, and I think nav link is a Blazor component, but you can totally write your own components. So for instance, if I want to be adding, we had home, we've got counter, and we've got fetch data. If I wanted to, for instance, create my own my new item, maybe give it the same class, call it nav item, I don't know, px3, I don't know what that is. That's probably a certain style. And I want to be saying, you know what, my I want to have a nav link, right? And then a nav link. See how it sort of comes up with we call it IntelliSense, which is quite cool. So you have got stuff like class. Oh, not active class, but class. Come on, we don't want to do that. We can say this is a nav link, and the href of this is not the link itself. This will point to a, let me see, where does this point to? Interesting. Href fetch data. So let's just put it, that's obviously some service it calls. And then we end that there, and then inside I can put anything I want. I can put in, for instance, foo, and just put in a foo button. Let's see what happens if I save this and I just run it again. Also, it's good to note that you can run an application, ASP.NET Core application, on both ways. You can run it either using IIS, which is the built-in Windows web server, or you can run it on, in its own process. So I prefer to do that because it's kind of faster. And the way to doing that, you can just in this little drop down, you can decide to run it on top of IIS Express, or SDNcast, or even Azure Dev Spaces, which is a topic I won't get into now, but that's for containers and stuff. So let's run that. So here I have my foo, and if it's good is if I press that button, it will obviously highlight that one because it thinks it's the same button, but it does the same. That goes to a page. All right, I see that goes to a page. So for instance, if I go to foo, that does not exist. See? So it points to a website that does not exist. So it's good in a way, but also bad because it doesn't exist. No. So that points to fetch data. So this is a page, and the pages fetch data. And if we want to be able to see, let's see how does this work. Okay, so on the pages, let's create a new. Will this work? Razor page. Okay, let's just go with it. Razor page. I'm just going to use Razor page. For the guys that's just joined us, welcome. I actually just saw now that my animations was turned off. So let's quickly do. If you're in the chat now, just maybe send some emoticons in the chat. I just want to test something out, please. If you guys don't mind, you will see some random things flying over the screen. So NL169, please help me out. Post a like emoticon. There we go. Thank you very much. See, there we go. It goes up into the air. That's a cool animation. I actually forgot to turn that on for the show. Thank you very much for that emoticon. The cool thing is, if you follow me or if you subscribe to my channel, please do subscribe. By the way, if you subscribe to my channel, if you can, or just follow me, you will also see some animations happening on the screen, which is quite cool. Alright, so continuing on, let's create foo. And I think I can call this Razor. I don't want to generate a page model. Now, a page model is a sort of a class representation of the front end itself. So in this case, I'm just going to have a static site or a static page. So I'm not going to put in to generate a page model. And reference script libraries and use layout page. Let's just use the layout page. This will tell the Visual Studio that I'm going to be using a layout page, and if I'm leaving this empty, it will make use of the layout that's specified in the view start. But if I want to override that, of course I can then click here and I can override it. But for now I'm just going to leave it blank. Okay, I cannot have Razor in the name. Just add. What happens now? Let's see. And it kind of hangs. Something is happening. Oh, there's foo HTML. So what I'll do is I'll just rename this to foo.razor. Yes. Alright, so if we now call this, compare this to the other ones that we have, let's say fetch data for instance, we can have this page directive to tell it it's a page. So there, and we can say, you know what, this is not fetch data, but this is called foo. And then I can actually say, you know what, make a h2, say hello from foo page. Alright, so that is it. So if I run it now, it will actually find my page called foo, hopefully, and it will then point to it. There we go. It's that easy, and it's in my same layout, and it's that easy to get started with Blazor. Blazor's awesome. So what I want to do is this is especially for you NL169, showing you how cool it is to actually get started with .NET, specifically Blazor in this case, or ASP.NET Core. If you do want to learn more, just reach out to me. Follow me on Twitter, Fani Renders. I can answer your questions whenever you have one. And please do join me again. I will be streaming again this week, Thursday, tomorrow I think, at 9 p.m. Central. That's not Central US, that's European Central Time. Okay, so let's get rid of a few things. So what do we need? For now, I'm going to keep the layout as is, but I'm going to be changing a few things here. We've got SDN cast. Then what we have is match all. I don't know what match all means. Oh, that's okay. That looks like it matches all things. So let's just see. If we want to go to our website, we've got home, live coding, admin, and about. Let's keep it in that kind of. So we've got home, which is we leave home there, and the next one is live coding. We just say live coding, and that will point to live coding. And then the next one is admin, and that will point to admin. And then the last one I'll just, there's about as well. So let's just put the about one in. That's called about. And then let's give it a, does this have, no, it does not have icon. So this span, it's used to make a icon. So if I take it out, it will apply the OI home icon, or class rather, to the span, which will give us that little home icon. But in this case we don't have any icon, so we'll just like take it out. Let's see, take this out, admin will take out, and we'll say about. Okay, so we have that in place. What do we else need? Now we need to do some changes. So I'm going to be actually using foo as an example. index. That's interesting. So index, so the names does not need to correspond to the actual. It's interesting. So if you go back to your name, so this about does not need to be about.razor. It can be bar.razor, as long as bar.razor, in this case foo, has a page directive that matches up with that layout. Same goes for the nav link, so that's blank, and index is blank, like that. Okay, so what do we have here? We have on our home page, we have this big banner that we, for now, I will just use that as a component, for instance. But somehow we need to get rid of this layout. This layout needs to change because we need to have a logo, both logos actually, and we need to have this layout of all these items going down the stack. So I'm not an expert. So let's see. This is the banner. So we probably need to have a component. How do we create a component here? So host. What's this host thing? Okay, so this is the main. This is the main host file. Right. Okay, then imports. Then import main layout, which is main layout here. Okay, so this is where we want a party. So this sidebar and main. So what do we have? Host, this must probably app. Okay, it starts here. Alright, so I don't know what this is. I see, this is quite cool. So this is a whole your application, cascading authentication state. It has a router, and then it will point to the assembly, and then if it's not found, I can put stuff in here. So sorry, there's nothing in this address. That's quite cool. So let's test it out. So for instance, if I want to go, for instance, 404 funny pictures, for instance, just to get a feel for it. How about this guy? Hello, it's me you looking for. That's quite cool. Okay, so what you can do is you can just go save image as. I'm just going to say 404.png. If you want to be saving this in a file, I think it's inside. Let's just save it in there. So now when I go here, I can just go image source. I can use that file there. Right, so now if I run this, what will happen? What will happen? So now obviously our stuff is working. Okay, and it's not working because there's nothing at this address. It's not picking up that file. 44. Interesting. So it's not part of the project? It is. Cool. But why? How do you include images then? Where does this run now? This runs there. Let's see. This doesn't run anywhere now. I can find it offline. Excuse me. Okay, so WebAssembly I've mentioned a bit earlier. Just give me 1 second. I think there's something wrong with my my stream. I don't think. Maybe it's just me. It's just fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Everything's fine. In any case, so WebAssembly is a interesting thing. So just on that point, if you go to WebAssembly, it is a kind of a mechanism. It's a sort of a, according to the website, it's a binary instruction format for stack-based virtual machine. So it's the same as where JavaScript runs on top of your browser. WebAssembly is a kind of a vehicle for stuff that supports WebAssembly to run on. So you can literally compile any application in its own runtime, or like for instance .NET or Java, you can compile in that application, but then an application runs on a runtime. So in case of .NET, it runs on the .NET runtime, so .NET Core runtime. So what they've done, and you know that .NET Core runtime now runs on the machine, and it just works. But for WebAssembly, because it's a special vehicle, they've created a special runtime for WebAssembly. So they've called it's called a Mono. They actually took the version of Mono. Just don't want to bombard you with too much information, but Mono is a version of .NET Core that has been it's like a specific version of .NET Core that supports WebAssembly. So they've made a special runtime, .NET runtime, for WebAssembly. So the idea is that WebAssembly starts up, well, is in your browser. Then the idea is when you open up the page, it starts up this special runtime. In this case, Mono, or let's just call it .NET Core WebAssembly runtime. It starts up that runtime, and effectively, because it's still .NET, it's just specifically for WebAssembly. Your application doesn't care. It still runs on the .NET runtime, so that's why it can work like a charm. So WebAssembly is, basically it's almost like Flash. I don't want to really say the word, but it's like a mechanism for your applications to run on top of, and it's industry standard, or it's like WebAssembly 1.0. It supports Firefox, Chrome, Safari, and Edge. It's cool. It's cool. Go get it. You don't have to install anything. It should be pre-installed on all the browsers. But do check out webassembly.org to read more information on top of that. Great question. Thank you very much, NL169. I need to figure out why. If I run this now, why is my image gone? Okay, that's live coding. Okay, that goes there. Why is it so that my image is gone? I need to figure out why is that the case. Do I need to include it somehow? I have no idea. Content doesn't look like that. Bootstrap. What will happen if I push? It should still work. I have no idea what I'm doing. We'll press F12. What do we have here? Network. So download CSS from there. So technically it should find. I see what it's doing. It's trying to resolve. Okay, I know what's the problem. So it's trying to resolve my my page, or my image rather, from the wrong location. So because, why is that happening? But fine, let's just keep it like that, and that should sort of solve the problem, right? Yay! Now I can actually, because the page is not working, I can actually have this "you're lost" image. You can do tons of things, which is quite cool. In any case, for now I'm just going to take it out. I don't need that for now. Just to show, especially to NL169, thank you, how it kind of works. I like teaching people. People should also like teaching other people, because you know what? If you teach someone something, that knowledge goes somewhere. But if you only listen to someone else, and not that I say it's a bad thing, but if you keep that knowledge to yourself, that knowledge, think about it, that knowledge is lost forever. It doesn't get spread out. Knowledge should be free, you know? It should be free. Thank you very much, NL169. Thank you for keeping me company on the stream. That's actually very much fun. Is that even English? I don't know. So how can we get this layout working? So we've got a sidebar, and we've got a main. We've got a top row. So what will happen if we kind of hijack this top row thing? Because this is all part of this main layout and its body. Okay. So what we could do is we can say, I need to sort of get in touch with my Blazor, with my Bootstrap side again. So we could actually top row. What will happen if I take this out? What I'm going to be doing, first of all, instead of launching it all the time, I'm going to remove IS, because we don't need IS for this. I'm going to remove, it's just the things, command line project. So what will happen if I go .NET watch .NET run? Will this work? This project does not know how to run HTMcast. Will this work? No. Okay, fine. Thought I was clever. But what you can do is, you can use the command line. You can go .NET watch, .NET run. So what that will do is, could not execute because the file was not found. What file? .NET run. Interesting. Will that work? Okay, yeah, that works. So why watch run? Will this work then? So when I see if this works. Hey, this works. Could not copy. Okay, cool. That's awesome. Hey, this is awesome. Okay, maybe it's not that awesome because I don't think it works. Oh, it doesn't know. Okay, let's just go back to the way it was. Visual Studio sucks sometimes. Let's go back. So CMD, we can go .NET watch and run. So what will that do is it will then compile my application. Every change I make will automatically be compiled. So this is quite cool. So I can literally, it's run already. So I can open up the browser on this address. Let's do that. Let's open up there and we go to, for instance, that address. The cool thing is now I can, for instance, make changes and see my changes appear, which is amazing. Put it that way and put it that way. I'm doing too many things at once. But in any case, let's see what happens. So we've got index. So let's say I want to say hello. I want to change this to hello, for instance. If I save, look what happens. It should actually retry. Breaking. Breaking everything. What the hell? What's happening? Okay, cool. You have to sort of... I thought it will automatically reload. In any case, so let's say hello foo. Save. Hit refresh. Hello foo. That's, I think, a quicker cycle to maybe start working with these kind of things. Alright, so let's see. We have our main layout. What will happen if I take this out? Nothing. Okay, cool. So what we'll do is we'll take that out. And then what we can do is we have kind of a similar thing. Alright, so what we want to mimic is take this SDNcast logo and put it in there. So how does this all iframes and stuff inspect? Okay, so we've got a class container. So what will happen if I just basically copy this whole element? I just want to see what happens. Take this, take it out, put it in here. Oh my gosh. Let me see what's happening. Stuff is happening. Too many stuff. We've got a button, navbar toggler. Okay, see, that's for thingy views. Okay, this is the container fluid. What's this thing? Okay, so this is not what I want. Let's take this off. Alright, so what do we have here? We need to SDNcast logo. So what we'll do is we'll go to images. We'll just make an images folder, and we'll add a new item. Not new item here, but actually existing item. And we'll go and steal that from SDNcast website. We have images, should be somewhere here, root. Right, so we have images. That's not okay. We have got the logo. We need that logo, and that's it, I think. So images, SDNcast logo. Then we have, what will happen if I just run this like it is? This is all. I'm just like so curious to see what will happen. What will happen if I run it like this? Cannot reach. What? Something wrong? Oh. Tags should not be placed inside components. So script tags should not be placed inside of components. For the guys that's joining me, welcome very much. Welcome to the show very much. Rather, do I have a script tag here? Aha, sneaky. Let's take it off. I'm supposed to have script tags in components. Because remember now, if you're doing Blazor, you're not supposed to be touching JavaScript. So this is one of the caveats to remember. So you can't just go and create JavaScript mixed with Blazor. So it's all or nothing. You have to go C#. And of course, if you want to be calling JavaScript components, there is a way. And then I'll cover this in the next episode, or some of the following episodes, on how to actually call JavaScript. But it's not that difficult. You can, from C# or from the component itself, you can invoke JavaScript assets. And it will actually go do like a remoting thing to work. So we've got like the top thing going on so far, which is quite cool. This bottom group, I'm going to take this off for now because it's kind of... Okay, so we'll just take this off for now. What do we have? Save. What do we have here now? Okay, so we've got a bunch of things that's not really aligned. Now Navbar brand. This should be mobile friendly. I have to figure out why is that on top. This is already top row. Container, navbar. So what will happen if I take this off? So every time I refresh, it compiles the whole application just to show how fast it is, right? So for some reason, I'm going to move this up, maybe here. Okay, now we have something. Alright, so we can do a container. What will happen if we say... So we can't really... Okay. If we say top row, take that off. And you save that. Will that... I just want to see what happens if I just leave it. Retry. Cannot retry itself. Now it's a bit of a mess. Oh, it still needs that container, so okay, that's fine. Just move that into the container. Refresh. That looks much better. It doesn't look like anything yet, but just bear with me. It will look great. We want it to look like this. It will look great. Trust me. So we have our links. That's our links, and we have our logo there. Everything should be fine, and obviously if we click there, nothing happens because it's just part of the thing, right? So okay. Also, what we want is navbar class expand transparent. Navbar dark. I think navbar dark might be a good idea because this is yes. Sorry. Excuse me. Alright. So we have kind of this going. We've got this things going there. Let's quickly see if we can put the Jumbotron. Maybe do that. That's a good idea. Let's do like a Jumbotron there. Paste it in there. Let's see what happens. That looks much better. That looks much better. We are getting somewhere. And in this background is Jumbotron. Is this a... Yeah, I see that's site.js. So this is a background image. Alright, so it's a CSS here. Okay, so what we can do, first of all, we need to kind of go and add I wonder if we should add it on the C#. Just want to pick Martin van Stam. Don't you love it? Client-side UI development. So many options. Bootstrap UI, Fabric. What? No. What not? Hey, Martin van Stam. Welcome to my live stream. It wasn't on schedule as planned, like 5 a.m. But I thought, well, it's this morning. I'm gonna be taking it easy this morning. Been working my ass off for the last couple of weeks, so let's relax and let's get some hands-on coding going. Alright, so I'll be checking this in soon. I think I need to actually get going. So let's see. So let's go VS Code source. Where is this thing now? This is www root, and yes, I think in CSS. No, it's not. Where's this background? Images. Okay, so it's home BG. I'll just move this into images. Home BG. And if it's cool, then I can actually say navbar brand. Oh, is that the case? Let's go open up site. Now we can actually override a few styles. So what I will do is I want to start from the top, maybe here, and say Jumbotron. How do you spell Jumbotron? I have no idea. Jumbotron. Tron. And I want to be saying, you know what, for this version, this is the cast. Let's just call this just say Jumbotron. Do I do dot HDN cast? Then I can actually. Good time for you is though. Yep. You're right, Martin. You are right. Oh, SDN Cassie. SDN cast. Let's just do that. Let's copy a few things. Yeah, let's copy these things out. I'm gonna paste these guys in here. Technically, this should be fine. I'm not an expert and it does not load, so it's not technically working. So is there something wrong with my style? I have no idea. Do I actually need to do this? Does this even reload everything? It did not reload. What's happening? Inspect. Okay, so what's happening here? Thank you very much. Hosting. D4RKCID is now hosting my stream. Thank you very much. Dark Side, I think. Hi, Dark Side. Welcome to the chat. Thank you very much for hosting me, Dark Side. That's an interesting name. Thank you very much. That's cool. Hope you like my animations. It's new on the screen. Just to point out, if you want to be putting on emoticons or subscriptions and stuff, you will see special animations on my screen floating up. So that might be some entertainment to watch while I am trying to figure out how to code. Yep, how to code. Jumbotron. Oh, it's not even loading in that screen. Why is that the case? Is that even loading in CSS? Is that even a thing? If I do that. Oh, there we go. That's interesting. See, it happened. It works. Yay! Oh, yay! It works. So this is quite cool. So we have some buttons going. Obviously it's not working as expected, but we've got some buttons going, which is quite cool. But I actually want to only be using. What's this 18 cast? Will that work? No, it won't. Why is this the case? That there we go. That's what I want. Hi everyone for coming in. I see there's a bunch of people coming to my stream at the stage. Welcome everybody. Wave in the chat if you're there, or whether it's send an emoticon in the chat, then you will see it float up. It's quite cool. You must try it. You should totally try it. Okay, so we have something going. So I think, having said that, I'm going to hang around for like 10 10 more minutes, I would say. And then I'm going to go off, sign off. And then hopefully tomorrow night at 8 p.m. we have a SDN cast. And then afterwards, if everything goes well, I will be continuing the stream. That will be around 9 or 10 p.m. That's CEST, that's Summer European Time. And I will be seeing if I can continue this stream. But for now, I think this is quite cool. We have got something working. Very excited. And this is all Blazor. Great, man. This is great stuff. For now, let's see. Let's wrap up a few things, yeah. Let's wrap up a few things. So we have... Is this even in source control? No, it's not. It's not in source control. Is it? Why is it not even? Let's just open up the... Oh no. Close solution. Let's open up that. That should be better. Switch views. No. Why is this now not in source control? Am I doing something wrong? I have no idea what I'm doing. Give it SDN cast. What? Where does... That's weird. Oh, you see what it did there? It created SDN cast inside dev. Not what I wanted. So let's try something else. Let's move SDN cast. I'm going to Control X. And I'm going to be moving it into there. Just moving all the stuff in there. Obviously need to close my application that's running the background. It'll move all this stuff neatly in there. So now hopefully I can change the view to SDN cast solution. And let's just see if we want to one last time when I run this, will it actually work? So I want to be checking these things in ready to rumble. So we've got this going, which is quite cool. Great. Okay, I think I'm gonna wrap things up. It's been fun. How long have I been streaming for? Hour and a half. That's fine. That's decent, I would say. It's not too long or too short. Slowly getting into things. So let's see. How do I need to? Where's my commit tools? Don't I? Team Explorer. Okay, so now what's the problem? Why can't I commit? Oh, add solution to source control. That's what I've done. That's what I've done. Why is this not working? Maybe, just maybe, I need to go to git, not hit, but git. Oh, really? Don't have git installed. Can you believe that? Don't have git. Add the solution to source control. Nothing's happening. Cannot be that hard. Maybe if I exit again. Ooh, you see there's SDN cast there and there's its source. I see. Interesting. Let's see. That should be fine. Add solution to source control. That's what I meant. It's not working. Changes. Let's say setting global. Yes. So what do we have here? We have VS I need to exclude that. We need to exclude that. We need to exclude that. So let's see. We need to exclude this somehow. VS. Don't I have a VS ignore on the... Let's see. .vs. I don't have... Oh, there's VS. Profile just in case they're left lying around. What? Don't think this is right. It have to be like that, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, there we go. That disappears. That's cool. Alright, so what do we have here? We've got some fonts. Everything looks fine. Yay! First Blazor version working, sort of. Boys and girls, that's not the way you need to do commit messages, but I live on the edge. I live on the edge. Let's push it. And see what happens. Alright, so let's go back to our SDNcast site. Should be able to see a revamp branch. All the first things there. That's fine. We will start fixing things as we move along. But alright, so do check out my friend Martin from Stum's stream. He does Office development, also web stuff, but it's more based on Office, Microsoft Office, which by the way also runs cross-plat. So it will run. He does applications and extensions. Great stuff to learn Office development. That's not in Office, but it's apps for Office or extensions for Office. Let's actually go to his site. It's Twitch. Does he have a website? Martin from Stum? Martin. Or was it Funstum? Don't know. Is that a thing? No, that's not. Martin, if you're in the chat, let me know. What is your... Martin, I think. Martin van Stam. This is his blog. Check it out. He does Office development. And if you want to go to his Twitch channel, it should be AAF Stam, I believe. No, it's not that guy. I can just maybe go this. There we go. Oh, Martin van Stam. Okay, so he's changed it to Martin van Stam, which is, I think, much better. And, hey, that's me. Hey, look, he's hosting me. It's infinitely. Let's do that, man. Let's do that. So, check out Martin from Stum's feed. I'm signing off soon. A lot of videos to learn Office development, which is quite cool. Yeah, so thank you very much, guys, for joining me. It's early. I need to start getting ready. But yeah, so until next time, like I said, until maybe this week, we'll see how it goes. And then we can do more things. We can start building proper websites. Thank you very much, NL169, for that shout out. Thank you very much for joining me in this stream. Do check me out again, and then let's roll out. Cheers, guys. Have a good one. Almost weekend. It's hump day, Wednesday. So do take care, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel, twitch.tv/FarneyRenders. Follow me on Twitter @FarneyRenders. You can see me on YouTube, just YouTube my name. By all means, if you have questions, please shout out. Do take care, guys, and until next time.